Today we are going to talk about the top 5 questions that you need to know for any job interview. So listen carefully, memorize the word very well so you can use them in your next job interview. Before we start, we would really appreciate your subscription. So do not forget to hit the subscribe button now on the bottom corner of this video. Question number 1. Tell me about yourself. This is an unavoidable question, and you absolutely must prepare well to make a good impression. Do not forget to refer to what you wrote on your resume. For this question, you need to speak for less than 2 minutes about your academic background, your work experience. You can add some comments about why you are there and what you can bring to the job. And here is an example of answer. My name is Mark Ford. I graduated from London University with a degree in women's studies. I started at ABC with a major in biology, thinking I was going to pursue a career in environmental protection. Then 2 things happened. First, I realized that I was more interested in environmental policy rather than the scientific aspect. Then I took an elective in women's rights and a light went on for me. I had always supported women's rights and was amazed that it continues to be an issue currently. Since that time, I have been able to volunteer and work on behalf of women's rights, both for abused women as well as homeless women. I'm here today because I believe my demonstrated passion for women's rights as well as my experience in non-profit organizations will be beneficial to your organization. Question number 2. Can you tell me a little about your strengths and weaknesses? For this question, you need to identify 3 strengths that pertain to this job and also talk about 1 weakness and how you manage it. And here is an example of an answer. My interpersonal skills probably top the chart of my strengths. I thrive on approaching people I do not know and quickly establishing rapport. I can think on my feet and I manage stress well. One area that challenges me is that of delegating. It is hard for me to delegate to other people, whether it be a team project for school or on the baseball field. I know this is a problem, so I have trained myself to make a list of those things I have to do myself and those things that can be passed on. It's still not easy for me, but I've found that when I consciously make that determination, I actually get more done and the quality is better. Question number 3. Can you tell me about your leadership experience? The answer to this question can be direct leadership, such as leading a student organization, or it can be indirect leadership, like working with a group to plan an event or collaborating on a class project. Be sure to include an overview of the situation, the obstacles or challenges you faced, and the end result. And now here is an example of an answer. So, the situation: I was in charge of the committee that was asked to revise our school's vision as they were transitioning to a co-educational school. Now, the obstacles. There were some issues because not all of the faculty agreed with the transition, and we had to get their buy-in within a pretty tight time frame. For the end result, I quickly realized that I had to include my advisor on each step we took, and each meeting we held to communicate the changes. We were able to come to an agreement and meet the deadline. I learned the importance of ongoing communication. Question number 4. Tell me about a time when you failed. For this question, they are really trying to see how you would handle it when a mistake is made on the job. Be sure to include the situation, the obstacles you faced, and the end result, what you learned. And here's an example of an answer. When I was a freshman, I had a great on-campus job, probably one of the best. Unfortunately, I didn't take it seriously. I showed up late, not properly dressed, and probably showed some attitude. What a shock when I was not hired back the next year. It forced me to take a good, hard look at myself and where I was as a manager. I made the conscious decision to turn my grades and attitude around. I soon discovered that it felt good to do well, and everything was on the upswing from there. I was young, but I was able to turn myself around. Question number 5. Why should I hire you over the next person? This is your opportunity to remind them why you are unique and the best person for the job. Sell yourself again and be sure to relate your qualities to the position you're interviewing for. Here's an example of an answer. You mentioned that the most important skills you're looking for are the ability to communicate with diverse groups of people, solve problems, as well as a developed business acumen. My experience at the admissions office required that I field answers quickly to prospective students, parents, and administrators. When the admissions requirements were changed, I was on the committee to communicate the new requirements to new and existing students so that it was understandable and accepted with a minimum of problems. This has enabled me to work with diverse groups of people, as well as solve their problems. Finally, my internship at XYZ taught me how a business runs, the details of profit, revenue, as well as expenses. As soon as I start here, I will do my best to complete the reports and analysis on time and in such a way as to make them as user-friendly and informative as possible. This is the end of our video today. If you enjoyed it, we would really appreciate your subscription. So do not forget to hit the subscribe button and let us know in the comments your feedback. Have a good day, thank you, and see you next time.